And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net, should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, "If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout." And today we're currently featuring over 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. We also have a new series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word Highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. And that's KC9VKV Highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting, a 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is I have the actual audio masters from all along the way, over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average of 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also in this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today, on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specially oriented resonant dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant dipole runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today, we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you'll protect everyone, especially our elderly, and also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you'll reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters, and through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their bandpass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is a Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now let's check in and see if Charlie, K1GZL, is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy? Yes, Jim, I've got a solid copy. You're running a 6 to a 9 direct, as we do not have any SDR, but we're copying you very well. It's partly sunny, but mostly sunny out, actually, and the temperature is in the upper 50s after moderate frost, a low of 31, and a very clear night. The leaves are just about maximum color here now. We are right near the peak of the leaf color. Do you copy okay, Jim? KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Roger, Charlie. Looks like about 25 over on Milford. Roger, Roger.
About 25 over on Milford. Roger, Roger. Okay, I guess Milford will work out okay. I've got a bit of Captain Mike on here. This wasn't recorded too long ago, and he was in the Chicago area. I think I forget, 37 or 39,000 feet, and the temperature was pretty darn cold up there. And here he is, hopefully. Southeastern corner of Wyoming. A1GZL, KX4, Wyoming there. Proud, sounding good. Right on the outskirts of Chicago. I think we're a little south of what I thought we were going to be. We're right between Naperville and Joliet. We'll be swinging right through there. Right now we're we're also going to go over a little town called Normantown. I don't know if that's part of Chicago or Normantown, Illinois, but anyway, I was thinking of AC3TD. Anyway, good copy on you there, Charlie. You're 5.9 plus. How am I coming in here? Go ahead. Toledo and Fort Wayne, just a little bit north of Fort Wayne. And we're going to come right overhead. We're just missing it.
nesting the very edge of the very southern tip of Lake Michigan. We fly right over Gary, Indiana, and Lake Station, Highland, Griffith, and a bunch of towns there. Boy, it's a lot of people living down there. We're just right now coming up over the southern outskirts of Chicago. Boy, that's a big city down there. Unfortunately, it's kind of hazy today, so I really don't have a good picture of it down there. Very hazy. But, anyway, smooth. It's been a smooth ride so far. We're showing right now 630 miles to go, and the temp up here today is -60 here at 39,000. K1G KX4 Whiskey Charlie.
Okay, there you are, 39,000 feet Celsius, -60, which is just about 70 degrees below zero Fahrenheit. Jim, KC9VKV, K1GZL. Could you copy that all right?
Oh, perfect, Charlie, perfect. And I was just thinking, you're always talking about how cold it is up at your location, but gosh, Captain Mike, boy, you add a couple of zeros in back of that.
Captain Mike, boy, you add a couple of zeros in back of that.
Oh, yes, yes, of course, absolutely. You can imagine that. Right now, at my elevation, I'm about 2,500 feet below the actual tree line. The tree line here would be about 4,000 feet, maybe 4,300 above me. But there are no mountains right in my immediate area that high. We're just into the area of the boreal forest zone, which means northern forest zone, and that's why you don't see the white pine that you see over southern Maine and most of New Hampshire. But you get up here, of course, I don't see any oak trees up here. It's too cold for oak trees, and it's a climate of its own self. And almost half of all our trees are spruce and fir, and you can probably throw a few bears in there also, but so far I haven't been bothered by bears, but there have been people around me who have been, so I'm holding my breath. Testing for modulation purposes, KC9VKV, K1GZL. I won't hold it too long, Jim. I know you may have many stations trying to call you there, but you're absolutely Q5 direct here. Go ahead.
Roger, Charlie. Well, gosh, from what I understand and from what I can tell on your QRZ page, you're on a kind of a mountain yourself, Roger?
That page, you're on a kind of a mountain yourself, Roger?
Oh, yes. The property, like, for instance, pardon me, where I'm sitting, from here, it goes up at almost 30 degrees. 30 degrees, and from here down to the road, it's maybe 20-25 degree drop off. So even though I'm only on 8.4 acres, the highest part of my property is up right at about 2,300 feet above sea level. The top of the mountain is 2,400, so I don't get quite to the top of the mountain at all. But the 20-meter antenna, my 20-meter quad is a little bit higher than I am here. I would say probably 2150 to the bottom of the 20-meter quad, which is aimed out into southern California. So it's a pretty steep area, and when you haven't had a disability like I've had after an arterial stenosis, which means valve replacement, which I believe was late last October, I'm recovering very, very well, but when I step on uneven ground, it's a little problematical. However, I found I can climb ladders now, although they don't want me to. I can do that, But I'm going to try to see what I can do when the leaves go completely off the trees, and I'll be able to see where a lot of rope lying on the ground is and where to place that. So we'll see what happens, Jim. Okay, I didn't mean to make such a long transmission. KC9VKV, K1GZL, Clarksville, Northern New Hampshire.
Roger, Roger, Charlie. Well, 73 of that way, sir. Always a pleasure. And for those that might be listening, if you ever want to see a real antenna farm, you should look up Charlie, K1GZL, on QRZ. He's got some really interesting pictures. And it does look kind of reminiscent, like maybe a harbor with a lot of sailboats. There's a lot of masts coming up there, and it is reminiscent of a harbor, but those are all antennas. So Charlie, K1GZL on a QRZ search, and you'll be amazed at all those antennas up there. So Charlie, let me say 73s to you, sir. Always a pleasure, and thanks for dropping by. And just a reminder, this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, and I'm better known in some circles as Dr. VKV. And we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to our YouTube Qso-Vlog page, where we're currently featuring over 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. This recording will be cut number 1 in that series. And we also have a new series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature, philosophical kinds of QSOs. You'll have to check it out. KC9VKV Highlights on a YouTube search. Well, without further ado, let's get on with the show. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Victor America 3 and Victor America 3 in Tango.
Victor America 3, come back slowly, phonetically with that call sign again.
America 3, come back slowly, phonetically with that call sign again.
KC9VKV, this is Victor Alpha 3, Juliet Tango, VA3JT, name is also Jim. Back to you.
Roger, Roger, Jim. It sounded like you might have had just a little difficulty there in the first, but that last transmission was solid. Whereabouts are you located, sir?
Transmission was solid. Whereabouts are you located, sir?
Ancaster, Ontario, just 50 miles west of Buffalo, New York, on the Canadian side, and just calling in to say thank you very, very much for all the advice you have given me, and I followed it, and I'm working DX around the world, having fun, and the ICOM 7300 is running like a fine-tuned racehorse. Back to you, Jim.
Yes, sir, Jim. It might be just a tad hot into your ALC. You might want to check that. That's go to your ALC, mic gain in hand, and as you say the word audio, spoken just as you would speak any other word in a QSO, don't stress it, just say it, and with mic gain, adjust your ALC for 2/3 reading on your ALC, Roger?
ALC for 2/3 reading on your ALC, Roger?
Roger, Roger, yes, I will do that in a couple of minutes, and how about I come back to you?
That's fine, sir. You can handle that, at your leisure. It's just a small thing. You're not that too hot, but just a tad, Roger, Roger?
Small thing. You're not that too hot, but just a tad, Roger, Roger?
Roger, Roger. Yes, I can see it coming over the line. Thank you so much for that advice. Just bill my insurance company.
Probably 5 clicks down on your mic gain will get that. If you're up around 60, 55 will probably take care of it, Roger?
If you're up around 60, 55 will probably take care of it, Roger.
Oh, yes, I'm at 6. I'm now at 50, over.
Yes, sir. And Jim, you're cutting out just a little bit. I'm not sure. Is that a switch or what is that?
Is that a switch or what is that?
I think it's my Vox.
Ah, yes, that will do it. That will do it. I never trust a Vox. That requires something smarter than I am. It's got to know when I'm going to talk, So I just, for that reason, I have never really used a Vox. And sometimes, Voxes can spook Vox, which is not a good thing. It is keying when you're not actually intending to say anything and just kind of clutters up the frequency a little bit, Roger?
Clutters up the frequency a little bit, Roger.
Roger. I agree with that 100%, Jim. And I know it from experience because the XYL comes down to the shack. She turns on the radio. So I've learned to turn off the Vox. So I'm going to reset the Vox today and talk to you next week. Always an honor and a pleasure to talk with you and to come in and get 100% positive advice. KC9VKV, Victor Alpha 3 in Tango.
Roger, Jim, 73 up that way, sir. Thanks for dropping by. Always a pleasure. And if you want to hear your audio and hear that wayward Vox, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. So 73 up that way, Jim. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. Great sound. I'm copying you on Milford. You were about 20 over there. Just beautiful. 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November 9, Juliet Delta.
Station Juliet Delta, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
Juliet Delta, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
November 9, Juliet Delta, Don, over.
Hey, Roger, Don, and what's your location, sir?
Hey, Roger, Don, and what's your location, sir?
Fort Mill, South Carolina, just south of Charlotte, North Carolina, over.
Roger, Don, and what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Don, and what radio are you running today, sir?
ICOM 7300.
Roger, Don, on the 7300. I'm copying you down in my Georgia SDR. You seem to be about 15 over down that way. If you'd be interested in our setup procedure, it starts with you thinking about if you're in the 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. That's considered wide, and it will give you the best performance for your transmitter. That's transmitter bandpass 100 to 2900, and you can check on that later if you don't know for sure. But our setup starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. Compression on and at a 3. Roger?
Sure. At a 3. Compression on and at a 3. Roger?
Yes, sir. N9JJD. Compression's on, and I'm on the wide for transmit, I think. Over.
Yes, sir. Okay, now go to your ALC with mic gain in hand. You look to be just a little hot. So what I want you to do is bring up that ALC, and you have mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio, not stressing the word more than just in a normal QSO, but kind of elongating the audio part. So use it as a test setup tone, and adjust your ALC for 2/3 by way of mic gain control.
ALC for 2/3 by way of mic gain control.
Roger, I'll do that. I'm on mic gain 57%, and audio. I'm down to 51%. How's that sound? Over.
Sounds better. Now what I want you to do is back up an additional 2 inches from your microphone, 2 inches further back from that microphone than what you normally run, and let me hear you.
From that microphone microphone than what you normally run, and let me hear you.
E9JJD, I'm backed up, further than I'm used to, about 2 inches, 3 inches, I think, from the mic, over.
Yes, sir. Now that is a lot cleaner, and I would run it like that. And if you really have to get closer than that, I would go ahead and get myself a foam windscreen to slip over that mic, and that will take care of all the transients that might happen. You're back now 2 inches additional from where you were, and you don't have much of that. But when you get closer than that, you do have a little mouth noise in the mic, all Roger?
You do have a little mouth noise in the mic, all Roger?
Roger, I guess I've been too close to the mic, and I've got 51% on the mic gain and about a 5 on the compression, over.
Yes, sir. I would remove that compression to a 3. Thing is, you don't want it to be sucking up between words, and we have found of all the configurations of that compressor, a 3 is about the best. A 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, just a third of the capabilities of the compressor is all we need. Roger?
A third of the capabilities of the compressor is all we need. Roger?
Roger, I'm 2 inches away, and I'm on a compression of 3 now. Reduced it from 5 down to 3, over.
Yes, sir. Now, if you can go to your EQ page, I would crank in 2 clicks additional treble EQ from where you are. On your EQ page, plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ from where you are. Roger?
2 clicks additional treble EQ from where you are. Roger?
You know what? Getting hit with QSB here. You had a very strong signal. You dropped out. I don't know why. Anyway, you dropped way down. Can you say again, over?
Yes, sir. On your equalization page, we want plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ boost. Plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ boost from where you are. Roger?
2 clicks additional treble EQ boost from where you are. Roger?
Yes, sir. I'm not sure on the equalization. If I have, I've got the tone control equalization. I got to look at the manual, over.
That's the same thing. Tone control, single sideband, and you want to go plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ. Roger?
And you want to go plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ. Roger?
Okay, Roger. I can do that just a second.
That'll help you out on your articulation, and that really helps, like when you're working a heavy pile-up or in noise, for folks to be able to perceive what the words are as far as the articulation of your audio.
Words are as far as the articulation of your audio.
Okay, I've got that in JJD. I went plus 2 on the treble for transmit, over.
Yes, sir, exactly. And you sound a whole lot more articulated now than where you were. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will bring you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
And I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger, I appreciate it. You helped a lot here. I appreciate you helping out. And KC9VKV at 9JJD. I appreciate it. 73.
Roger, Don. 73 up that way. And incidentally, you're about 5 dB hotter down in Georgia than on Milford, which we normally use a lot. So 73 there, Don, and we'll catch you later. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Tango Hotel X-ray station. Come back, give me your call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Station. Come back, give me your call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Kilo Foxtrot 4, Tango Hotel X-ray, transport THX.
Tango Hotel Foxtrot, Roger. What's the name there?
Tango Hotel Foxtrot, Roger. What's the name there?
The name is Robert.
Roger, Robert, and whereabouts are you located, sir?
Roger, Robert, Robert, and whereabouts are you located, sir?
We're in Crossville, Tennessee, which is between Nashville.
Roger, Roger. I'm copying you on my Georgia SDR. You're sounding probably about 4 dB above their noise level. Sometimes it slips down. It slips down into their noise, but mostly you're over that noise. And what radio are you running today, Robert?
Noise. And what radio are you running today, Robert?
EZFT 99-1A.
That's a 99-1A or 991A?
99-1A or 991A?
99-1A.
Yes, sir, Robert, I got you. Now, if you're interested in our setup procedure, it starts with you being sure that you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. 100 to 29. If you're not sure, why don't you just make a note of that to check it next time you get a chance. 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. That's what the one you want to be in. Our setup starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. It's a token amount. You'll never hear it on the air, but it does exactly what we need it to do. So that's compressor on at a 3. Roger?
So that's compressor on at a 3. Roger?
Okay, clear.
Alrighty, then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio, just adjust your mic gain until your ALC is 2/3. Audio's the word, and mic gain until your ALC is 2/3 reading.
Mic gain until your ALC is 2/3 reading.
And you can do that 2 or 3 times till you're satisfied you are at the 2/3 reading.
Do that 2 or 3 times till you're satisfied you are at the 2/3 reading.
Alrighty, sounds pretty good to me. What? Why don't you tell me in 10 seconds about your antenna system, and let me listen to you, sir.
In 10 seconds about your antenna system, and let me listen to you, sir.
Got a center feed clock 45 feet up in the tree.
I was just going around the band trying to find. I went to my local antennas and I had you, but I've got a few antennas on my local radio that I didn't get to run through them all. So tell me about the best thing you like about your radio for about 10 or 15 seconds.
Everything I wanted to do. Manual user-friendly.
Alrighty, I did not find anything hotter than the Georgia SDR, so that's where we're sitting right now. And I want you to move down to your equalization page and crank in a couple of clicks of additional treble EQ. That's help you in your articulation. So that would be on the EQ page, transmit sideband, plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ from where you are.
Plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ from where you are.
Robert, you might have hit your VFO, sir. You might have hit your VFO. We're on 7188. 7188. Check your VFO, Roger.
88. 7188. Check your VFO, Roger.
Repeat that, sir.
I thought you might have hit your VFO. I heard something that was just slightly off frequency. I thought that might have been you. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're on 7188, and I think you're on that frequency now. Roger, Roger.
We're on 7188, and I think you're on that frequency now. Roger, Roger.
7188, we're on.
7.188 megahertz, and that's where we are. So you're on the frequency. Roger, Roger.
That's where we are. So you're on the frequency. Roger, Roger.
That's correct, sir.
Roger, Roger, Robert. Well, if you got your EQ cranked in there, I think that was the only thing that we had extra to do, I believe. So did you manage to get that plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ cranked in?
Just to get that plus 2 clicks additional treble EQ cranked in.
I did.
Alrighty, and why don't you tell me the best thing, if you would, give me a little bit more audio there, the best thing you like about amateur radio, Roger?
A bit more audio there. The best thing you like about amateur radio, Roger?
Well, I'm retired. I'm 80 years old, and got my license back in '92.
Yes, sir. Well, gosh, I'm glad to hear you there. And amateur radio, I think, is one of those things that just keeps on giving. There's so many aspects to amateur radio. There's all kinds of frequencies to consider, all bands, and so it's just amazing. And I'm glad that you're participating, Roger.
Just amazing. I'm glad that you're participating, Roger.
I've been lucky to have a couple of Elmers.
I missed that last. Why don't you back off that mic a couple of inches and let me hear you again, sir?
Why don't you back off that mic a couple of inches and let me hear you again, sir?
I've got a couple of Elmers helping me, just to things that help me set up the antenna and answer my questions as they come about.
Yes, sir. That's beautiful, and that's exactly what Elmers are for, is to help folks along the way as best they can. Advise them about different things, and help them build different things if they need assistance. That's the whole part about Elmers, and that's the thing I love about my Elmer. He keeps me advised of all kinds of things and suggestions, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my Elmer, Roger.
And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my Elmer, Roger.
I hear you. It's sure been a godsend to me.
Yes, sir. All right, Robert, I'm going to let you go, sir. I think you're in good shape. If you want to hear that audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word highlights, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. So that's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger?
This recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your assistance.
Yes, sir, Robert. And just a suggestion that if you get a chance, I would get a foam windscreen to slip over that microphone that you have, and then you can work it any way you want. That's called a foam windscreen, and you can just slip it right over your microphone. You can pick one up at your local music store, or however you do that. They have a wide selection, I'm sure, with all different kinds of colors. But get that foam windscreen and just slip it over your mic. It'll take out all kinds of mouth noises, and you'll just have perfect audio then, Roger?
All kinds of mouth noises, and you'll just have perfect audio then, Roger?
Sounds like good advice.
Yes, sir, Robert. Okay, 73, sir, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
I did have some com on my Milford SDR, so station, try it one more time, slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Try it one more time, slowly phonetically with your call sign. With Alpha 4 Lima Victor, W84LV.
I got a Whiskey Delta 4, call sign again, please, slowly phonetically.
Whiskey Delta 4, call sign again, please, slowly phonetically. Whiskey Alpha 4 Lima Victor, W84LV.
All right, I'm missing the letter between 4 and V. I've got WD4 blank V. Try it one more time there.
That's the WD4 blank V. Try it one more time there. Whiskey Alpha 4 Lima Victor. Whiskey Alpha 4 Lima Victor.
Is that Lima Victor?
Is that Lima Victor? Roger, Roger.
And so the call is Whiskey Alpha 4 Lima Victor. Roger, Roger.
And so the call is Whiskey Alpha 4 Lima Victor. Roger, Roger. Roger, Roger.
All right, and what's the name there, sir?
All right, and what's the name there, sir? The name here is Laren. Lima Alpha Romeo India November.
Lima Alpha Romeo November, is that correct?
Lima Alpha Romeo November, is that correct? Lima Alpha Romeo India November. It's Laren.
Lima Alpha Romeo India November. Roger, Laren. And what's the location, sir?
Yeah, November. Roger, Laren. And what's the location, sir? I'm in Crestwood, Kentucky. Crestwood, Kentucky.
All righty, in Kentucky. And what radio are you running today, sir?
All righty, in Kentucky. And what radio are you running today, sir? I've got a Flex 6300. Flex 6300.
Laren, Roger, Roger, a copy of Flex 6300. So what I want you to do is give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find us a better path. Roger?
System, and let me look around and see if I can find us a better path. Roger? Gotcha. Yeah, I'm hoping you find a better path.
I have a 80 through 10 in-fed antenna. The feed point's up about 15, 20 feet off the ground. Inverted V up to about 35 or so, and back down. So it's about 135 foot long. Go ahead.
Okay, Laren, I've got a good copy on my local antenna. So let's, if you would be interested in the setup procedure, I think we can make you a little fatter there and more articulated. So it starts with you making a note to check about your transmitter bandpass mode, and we want you in that wide mode 100 to 2900. So transmit bandpass at 100 to 2900, and you can just make a note of that. Our normal setup procedure starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. It's a token amount. You'll never hear it on the air, but it will help us arrive at a 3 dB dynamic range. So compression on at a 3. Roger?
Roger, Roger. Processor's on, and I'm actually a little bit wider than that. I'm at a low cut of 50 and high cut of 32.
Yes, so you should have a setting of 100 to 2900. That's what we recommend. If you run wider, you will have folks coming to look for you with pitchforks.
roger that. I backed it off.
Yes, sir. 100 to 2900 is all we need, and we can get you sounding just beautiful there. So your compressor is on at a 3. Your bandpass is 100 to 2900. Is that a roger?
That is a roger.
Alrighty, now let's go to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, as spoken as you would speak any other word in a QSO, don't stress it, just say it, audio, kind of drag it out just a little bit, use it as a setup tone on your ALC, and we want that ALC meter to be running 2/3, and you can adjust that with your mic gain control.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Flex. I don't know where an ALC meter is on this thing, actually. I see the compression, and maybe that's the level meter up there. Audio. It's going about halfway.
Yeah, so what we're looking for is 2/3. What is your current mic level? What is your current mic level?
It's at 55.
Okay, take that to 65 and let me hear you.
I'm sorry, I think I stepped on you. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Take that mic level to 65, and let me hear you.
Okay. Bumped up the mic level to 65.
Yeah, so that helped a great deal. And I'm looking at your audio on a view meter, and I can tell ballistically what's going on there as far as the dynamic range. And so what I want you to do now is to give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system so I can listen to you a little bit more.
Gotcha. So I've got at the end-fed right now. I did have a fan dipole up at 35 foot, but I'm in an HOA development, and they're building houses all around me right now, so to be a little bit more stealthy, I had to take it down and put up the end-fed. I actually just started running it about a week or so ago, and so far, so good.
Okay, I'm showing you still pretty flexible there as far as your processing. You're still not as full as you could be. Why don't you take that up to 70? Take that up to 70 and let me hear you. And I want you to be about 3 inches from that mic, just about 3 inches. And I want you to be looking at what you think is your ALC. And we want that ALC to be at 2/3. Roger?
Gotcha. Okay. Yep, I'm about 2 or 3 inches away, and bumped it up to 70 right now.
Alrighty, and tell me about your antenna system.
Well, I've also got a vertical. I've got an HF9V, the butternut. Had it for a really long time. Don't really get to use it a whole lot because it's not in a very good location. I have to hide it behind the house, and it's kind of hard to run radials out on it.
Roger, Lauren. Okay, now what I want you to do for the next couple of weeks, I want you to leave your ALC meter out so you can look at it as you speak. And what I want you to do is to control the sweet spot of the ALC by your voice. I want you to get that ALC meter right in the sweet spot, which is 2/3 reading, and I want you to keep her there as you speak, and just keep watching that ALC meter when you're on the air, when you're transmitting, and that will, you'll want to try to keep that meter at the proper sweet spot, 2/3. Roger?
Gotcha. So does it sound somewhat decent? I've got kind of using an older microphone. Not anything spectacular, but never really quite knew how well I sounded on that.
Roger, microphone sounds good. It's got good articulation. Not a lot of bottom end, but a lot of bottom end can get you in trouble. So I usually, if I have my druthers, I would take a little lighter bottom end. Roger.
Okay. All right. Well, I do appreciate your time. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir, and I would just keep watching that ALC meter, and what you want to do is try to keep that meter right in that sweet spot as much as you can. Roger?
Roger, roger. Will do. I thank you so much. You have a wonderful weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You also. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, it'll take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Can you say that call sign one more time, please?
Yes, sir. The call is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook on a YouTube search. Roger?
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Whiskey Alpha 4, Lima Victor.
Roger, Roger, Lima Victor 73, sir. You have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. My name is Jim, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
You want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Charlie 9, Lima Charlie.
Kilo Charlie 9 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Kilo Charlie 9 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Yes, the call is Kilo Charlie 9, Lima Charlie.
Roger, Roger, Lima Charlie, and what's the name there?
Roger, Roger, Lima Charlie, and what's the name there?
Yeah, name is Randy, Radio Alpha, November Delta Yankee, and located in the southwest part of the state of Virginia. And I think I spoke to you once before, maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago or something like that.
Roger, Roger, Randy. I started off copying on Arlington, went through Georgia, you're there, and I also copied you best on Milford. What radio are you running, sir?
And I also copied you best on Milford. What radio are you running, sir?
Using an Aircheck K3, just 100 watts into a double extended ZEP antenna up at about 45 feet in the backyard. A rainy, soggy backyard today that we're getting the first of the hurricane, the big white bands of rain, and then I guess the wind will start tonight or tomorrow.
Roger, Roger, Randy. Well, your audio is about a 3 dB dynamic range, which is just absolutely perfect, and your EQ curve is very intelligible. So I would think that you're just perfect, near perfect. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
This recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger, Roger. Yeah, I was hoping you would say that. You helped me with a few things last time. In fact, I'd really never even messed with the audio settings here on this Aircheck before, and I've tweaked it a tiny bit since then, and I've got some good reports, but anyway, I don't, not one of the ones that constantly mess with it. Just get it sounding good and leave it there.
Absolutely. As my dad used to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's just perfect. I wouldn't change a thing, Roger.
And that's just perfect. I wouldn't change a thing, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Okay, well, I'll let you go on and make a few more adjustments on the air, and I'll take a look at your YouTube recordings. I think I did check those out last time, but it's been a while. Watching some of the weather channel up here, it looks like it's making landfall in South Carolina now, so hopefully there's not going to be too much flooding or anything. Anyway, 73s, you have a good afternoon. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Lima Charlie.
Roger, Roger, Lima Charlie. Hopefully by the time that gets to it, that weather system gets to us, it'll be just a tropical thing there, not anything major. Hopefully. So, 73 Randy, and have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We're recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Not nice to tune on an active frequency. Really not nice to tune on an active frequency.
Really not nice to tune on an active frequency.
This is Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
And I've been around the horn there once or twice and did not hear anyone. Again, this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We're recording now live till 5. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
KXK. KXK station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
K station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign. Yeah, we've spoken many times before. It's Kilo 2, Kilo X-ray Kilo, and the name is Ken.
Yes, sir, Ken. Gosh, I haven't heard from you in quite a while. You've been doing all right?
Sir, Ken, gosh, I haven't heard from you in quite a while. You've been doing all right? Yeah, I've been doing good. Haven't been on 40 very much at all, though. Been some time on 20, a lot of time on DMR. Not using radios at all. But I developed a bunch of friends on a couple of DMR rooms, and we spend a lot of time talking there. And also, you know, in the nice weather, my other hobby is radio-controlled airplanes, so I spent a lot of time doing that. How have you been doing?
Yes, sir. Been doing great there. Still doing our Friday afternoon thing. And we're out to 2,300 some odd Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And just checking yours, you might use just a couple of clicks more top end. A couple of clicks boost on the treble EQ just for articulation, Roger. You're nice and full dynamically. You're about 3 dB dynamic range, which is just perfect, but you might need just a little more top end, Roger.
It's just perfect, but you might need just a little more top end, Roger. Yeah, okay, very good. Well, here's a little more top end. This is a brand new radio. I haven't really done much in the way of audio, so I might give you some business this afternoon. This is Sun SDR2DX. So just drag that the EQ point up a little bit. I would like to compare it to the Flex, which is my normal rig, standby one.
All right, this one looked to be about maybe 2.5 dB dynamic range, just a tad more than what we would normally do, but still it's nice. It's very full, and adding that extra top helps, Roger.
Probably not a big difference, but to your ears, Roger, there might be a significant difference. K to KXK. You doubled with it.
Ken, I think we doubled, sir, just a little bit there. I was saying I thought your audio on this one might be just a tad hot. Just a tad. You're about 2.5 dB, and I think you should be about 3 dB. So before you run off, why don't you check your ALC on this one? Go to ALC with mic gain in hand. As you say the magic word audio, adjust your ALC for 2/3 reading by way of mic gain control. You say the word audio just as a word that you would say in a normal QSO. Don't stress it, just say it, Roger.
Word that you would say in a normal QSO. Don't stress it, just say it, Roger. Yeah, Roger. Well, we turned it down a little bit. So as I was saying, I didn't catch the part where we doubled, obviously. This is the Flex 6500, and stand by.
Alrighty, I lost you a little bit there. We had some Mother Nature disturbances there, but I know enough of what this radio sounded like to be able to maybe check it out with the other radio that you're going to bring on.
To be able to maybe it might be affecting the other radio that you're going to bring on. I've got about twice as much power on the sun.
Yeah, again, I think we doubled again there, sir. Have you switched radios yet?
Again, I think we doubled again there, sir. Have you switched radios yet? Yeah, it doesn't. It only takes me 1 second to switch. That's probably why we're doubling. You're right, responding to my comment, and I've already switched it over. So this is the sun, and don't come back. I'll come back on the flex. Doesn't take me any time to do it.
There you go.
Okay, this is the flex, but I'm only running half the power. There you go. I'll bump the power back.
Yes, sir. Well, obviously the sun I thought sounded better, but you're running twice the power on that one.
It sounded better, but you're running twice the power on that one. No, now we're running the same power, about a kilowatt through the SPE amp. So again, this is the flex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the sun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sun dropped off. I think you had a malfunction on the sun key. Double check that.
Off. I think you had a malfunction on the sun key. Double check that. Yeah, I did.
Looks like the key is marginal on the sun.
Looks like the key is marginal on the sun. Yeah, the problem is it's dropping. The problem is it's dropping.
Yeah, you'll probably need to work on that just a little bit there, because it was in and out. Now, normally, I would think you would have a hard key on both of those. You would have a hard key, so there would be no reason for it to drop out, because the actual excitation would not determine the amp being keyed or not. You have a hardline relay key on that amp, Roger.
Or not, you have a hardline relay key on that amp, Roger. Yes.
Yeah, Ken, I could not copy you. You really need your amp. So go to the radio where your amp works. Go to the radio where your amp works, Roger.
Works. Go to the radio where your amp works, Roger. Yeah. Okay, we're back on the flex, K2KXK. What's happening on the sun, I don't know why it wasn't happening when I first contacted you. The sun is kind of a science project, as one of my friends put it, especially using the version 3 alpha release software. Flex and the SPE 1.5K play very nicely with each other, because SPE has set a special algorithm for flex to control the drive. And there is no such animal on the sun, nor does the sun support ALC feedback from the amp to the radio to control the drive. So it's a bit of a challenge getting it consistently, the drive and the miking aligned with the SPE so that it doesn't overload the SPE. What happens is I've got a radio switcher that I built based on the Raspberry Pi, which allows me to switch drivers into the sun, and it also switches all my audio input and output. So that's how I can switch so quickly. But there is no way to automatically control the drive on the sun. So what happens is when it overdrives the amp drops out. That's what you were hearing.
Oh, I see that. Well, I don't know about all that. I just know that, I've got a hard relay key for my power amp, and it's not, my power amp does not listen for the amount of level. I mean, it is going to be keyed hard on the relay, whether the excitation is 1 watt or 100 watts. Roger?
The excitation is 1 watt or 100 watts. Roger?
Yeah, it's probably not a solid-state amplifier, so it doesn't have to be as particular about the drive level, man.
Oh, yes. Well, that's why I chose a SB220, Roger.
I chose a SB220, Roger.
Yeah, very good. Well, anyway, it's been great to hook up with you. I'm not going to hold you up because I'm sure there's a lot of people who would like to get in the Vlog session for their audio, but I heard you in there. We haven't spoken for so long. Thought I'd give you a shout. I'll go back and see if I can't figure out why, go back to a dummy reload and figure out why my son is overdriving my solid-state expert amp. Right?
Roger, Ken. What's your location, sir?
Roger, Ken. What's your location, sir?
We're in central North Carolina, and we're getting the outward effects of Ian at the moment. A lot of wind and some significant rain. It's supposed to be better by tomorrow.
Yes, so well, I wish you luck, sir, and I hope all your antennas work out. And what was the radio that was working well with your power amp? What radio was that?
What was the radio that was working well with your power amp? What radio was that?
Yeah, this is a Flex 6500, and as I said, it plays very nicely with the SPE series of amplifiers, solid-state amplifiers. So it's my go-to radio. The new one, the Sun, is, like I said, kind of a science experiment.
Yes, sir. And Ken, you got a little bit of something going on there that was kind of buffeting your audio. I'm not exactly sure what that was, but I'm sure maybe it's just a tuning thing or something. But it was kind of chopping your audio just a little bit, Roger.
Something, but it was kind of chopping your audio just a little bit, Roger.
Maybe getting a little RF into the audio. Hopefully, it's not too bad.
That was pretty clean right there. It sounded a little like little impulses, little impulse clicks about every tenth of a second or somewhere in there, Roger?
About every tenth of a second or somewhere in there, Roger?
Ah, interesting. I'm not sure where that would be coming from, but stand by. Let me drop the power down.
Hey, Mr. Bopang.
Station calling, stand by just a moment.
Less power, so...
Station calling, stand by just a moment.
Any audio to be getting in there. You might let me know if you notice the difference. K2KXK.
That sounded clean that way. Before it was just a little impulse noise that was buffeting your audio. I didn't hear it that last transmission, Roger.
Impulse noise that was buffeting your audio. I didn't hear it that last transmission, Roger.
Okay, well, very good. Thanks a lot. We have got a little station cleanup to do here. But all in all, we're pretty happy with the radio. And as usual, you're always a great help. 73, we'll catch you later. KXK, clear.
Roger, Ken 73, sir. Thanks for dropping by. And we will have this uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. So if you want to hear your audio and hear what might have been happening there, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. 73, sir, you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net, and there was a station that kind of jumped in there for a minute. If that station's still there, try again.
And it jumped in there for a minute. If that station's still there, try again.
BBW, yes. Come back with that call sign one more time.
Come back back with that call sign one more time.
Bofang.
Oh, I got you now. I got my local antenna. And what was that called again?
November 7, Bravo Whiskey. It's Lou.
Roger, Lou. And you're on a Bofang? How many watts you running there?
No. I was teasing you about being Mr. Bofang, and we haven't heard you in a while.
Well, yes. Well, I've been pretty busy, man. You know, one-arm paper hanger, trying to get this Qso-Vlog net taken care of on Friday afternoons, and then getting my post up to YouTube and all that. Your sounded really, really nice, Roger.
That's what everybody tells me. I've acquired this ICOM 7600 from an estate friend of mine that passed away, so that's what we've been using. But we had the day off. Well, actually been on vacation, and we got back home last night, so we got back out here in the shack to make sure everything was still working. Heard you in there, thought we'd say hey.
Roger, Lou. Well, that radio is sounding really nice. The dynamic range is around 3 dB dynamic range, which is just absolutely perfect. And the audio EQ curve is nice, very intelligible. Roger?
Well, thank you very much. This is the hand mic that comes with the radio, and everybody's been telling me that. So I'm not touching nothing. I'm going to leave that all alone. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir, Lou. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook on a YouTube search, that will bring up this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow so you can hear your audio, Roger.
Roger, yeah, I copied that information that you gave the other guy also. Well, we just wanted to say, hey, we're going to go move on to my next little task at hand. So congratulations on your vlog. Yeah, video audio log, I guess, really. Audio log, I guess we'd have to call it. But I know what you're doing. Know it well. So I'll tell the guys we made contact, and catch you more later. N7BBW clear.
Roger, Lou. And I was copying the mail originally on the Milford PA SDR. So you were making the trip up to Milford, and then I pulled down to my local antenna, which I'm just running now, my 0 degree 10-foot vertical magnetic loop, and you're probably about 30 over, so just a beautiful recording. I think you'll love it. 73, sir, thanks for dropping by, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Hey, you said remote at Milford? Where? Milford, surely not Milford, Delaware.
Milford, PA. Milford, PA, SDR. Roger?
Oh, PA, because we were in Milford, Delaware this past beach. So when you said that, I'm going like, what?
Yes, sir, and I just went to Milford again, and you're about dB or 2 dB above their noise level, but I did copy you originally on that SDR. Roger?
All righty, well, I will tell my buddy. Thank you very much. That's very coincidental, I feel.
Yes, sir. Well, that Milford PA SDR is one of the nicer SDRs in the country, I think. It's just tremendously sensitive, and it's one of those that I've picked for geographical coverage for our 100-watt friends that sometimes have difficulties. I run 4 internet SDRs and on a rotary switch, and I can just in a second I can run through those 4 and tell what's hot and what's not. Roger?
All righty. Well, for the record, I'm running 75 watts because I'm on battery power here. I'm running 75 watts because I'm on battery power here in the shack, as you know, and I'm on the meters. So that's about the best I can do from here in this little, you know where I live.
Yes, so I just ran the my SDRs, and you're about 6 over down in Georgia, Atlanta, you're about 6 over the SDR on that one, and you're also into Arlington and Rochester, but hottest obviously on my local antenna. You're about 30 clicks hot on my local antenna, Roger.
Oh yeah, well, the antennas are almost touching each other, so yeah, I better be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I run antenna attenuate, so I'm, not really hot, but hot enough. Roger.
Oh yeah, you're almost pegging me out, so that's good. All righty, well, I'm going to get back to this other thing I'm doing. I might have a visitor this evening. We'll see what we're going to cover out here in the shack.
Yes, sir, Lou. Well, you check out your audio on that KC9VKV logbook search on YouTube. I think you'll really love it. 73, sir. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo, Golf 8, Oscar uniform.
Oscar Uniform Station, come back slowly with your call sign.
Oscar Uniform Station, come back slowly with your call sign.
Kilo, Golf 8, Oscar uniform. Paul over here in Michigan, over.
Roger, Michigan. And what's the name there?
Roger, Michigan. And what's the name there?
Name is Paul. You have a little problem hearing me, I can kick the amp in.
Paul, I've got you about 25 over on Milford, PA SDR. And what radio are you running today, Paul?
PA SDR. And what radio are you running today, Paul?
We got a 10-tech Omni 7 here, and about 3 active elements working right now, over.
Roger. Well, you're sounding just beautiful in Milford, PA. Just copying you right there. Why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system? Let me look around and see what else, what other signals I might be able to conjure up. Check out my own local antenna, sir. About 10 seconds on your antenna.
Check out my own local antenna, sir. About 10 seconds on your antenna.
Alrighty. Well, very nice amplifier. Tower is a crank up tilt over with a Mosley Pro 6. And the tower is a crank up tilt over with a Mosley Pro 67 that's probably about 24 years old up there. But and we've been through probably 3 rotators on it. And sometimes we had a 70-mile-an-hour wind come through here one time and made that antenna look like a helicopter rotator. So, anyway, that I give you 10 seconds, see how we're doing. KG8OU.
Yes, sir, Paul. Looks pretty unprocessed as I'm looking at it. I checked my local antenna, and you were there, but you were just about a 5 over. So I'm helping you much better on Milford at about 15 over. So I'm on Milford. Now, if you would be interested in our setup procedure, starts with you double-checking to be sure you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. 100 to 2900. If you're sure of that, we will move on to the setup. If not, why don't you just make a note that you should check that to be in the 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. Roger?
To 2900 transmit bandpass mode. Roger?
Yeah, we're squeezed down a little tight. We get about 2.4 on bandwidth here. And we've taken about 300 off the bottom and put it on the top, over.
Alrighty. So what radio is that? This Omni 7. You do have a compressor on that radio, Roger?
This Omni 7. You do have a compressor on that radio, Roger?
Yeah, compression's running about 50%, and the mic gain is sitting right around about 20-21%.
Alrighty. Usually we would just suggest running that compressor at a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, just about a third of the compression capabilities. Roger, about a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. And then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio, just say the word and adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running 2/3. Roger?
Until your ALC is running 2/3. Roger?
Yeah, okay. We'll play with that a little bit. I usually just run the monitor on this thing when I'm setting it up and
run the compression until I can hear it, and then back it on off until I can't tell the compression's in there. But we'll play around with it a little bit. Thank you for your help.
Yes, sir. You're right now about 10 dB dynamic range, which is like unprocessed. And if you want it to be just a little bit fatter, we usually shoot for about a 3 dB dynamic range, which gives you 80 to 85% average peak modulation. The words are crystal clear. If you go past 3 dB dynamic range, then your words start to blur, and we want to stay below that. So we go for about a 3 dB dynamic range. Now, if you consider that unprocessed audio is about a 10 dB dynamic range, what we do is move it up, run it on that ALC at about 2/3 by using the word audio to calibrate, and at 2/3 you'll be at the 3 dB dynamic range, and your average percent of peak modulation will be from 80 to 85%. Roger?
Peak modulation will be from 80 to 85%. Roger?
Okay, thank you very much for the help. We'll go around and play around with this thing a little bit later on here. KG8OU, listening now.
Roger, Paul, 73, sir. If you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, we'll take you to this recording. I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. 73, Paul. And this is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
My name is Jim, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
KE8 ADV portable.
That portable station, come back slowly one more time with your call sign.
That port station, come back slowly one more time with your call sign.
Yeah, this is Kilo Echo 8 Alpha Delta Victor, operating portable off battery power.
Okay, I've got you there. What's the name?
Okay, I've got you there. What's the name?
Name is Tony, here in the Cleveland, Ohio area. I'm actually running portable off of a battery, but I am experimenting with an Ameritron ALS 500 amplifier. I'm not even sure if it's working here.
Roger, Tony. It looks to be. I'm copying you fairly well off the Milford PASDR. I would suggest that you back off that microphone about 2 or 3 inches. Right now you're getting quite a bit of mouth noise in with your audio, so back off about 2 or 3 inches and let me hear you, Roger.
So back off about 2 or 3 inches and let me hear you, Roger.
Okay, maybe that's a little bit better right there.
Yes, sir, Tony, that's a lot better now. Where are you and what radio are you running?
Yes, sir, Tony, that's a lot better now. Where are you and what radio are you running?
So I'm running a 991 built into a Go box, and I am in the Cleveland, Ohio area. I'm actually in one of the parks, running a Chameleon Delta loop off of this 991.
Okay, Tony, do you have an EQ page on that radio? Can you go to your equalizer on that radio? You need more top end for articulation. You need more treble EQ on that radio. Do you have an equalizer page on your radio there?
That radio. Do you have an equalizer page on your radio there?
You know what? I probably do, but I'm not too familiar with this radio. I'm a relatively new ham, and it'd probably take me a long time to figure out getting into the menu.
Roger, Tony. Okay, why don't you make a note? You need about 3 clicks additional treble EQ from where you are. So about 3 clicks treble boost from where it is at the moment, and that will help your articulation. Right now, you're missing that top end, so if you were really pushed for noise in the background or, heavy QRM or something, it might be difficult to understand what you're saying. So that 3 dB additional treble EQ will help you as far as understanding the words that you're speaking. Roger?
Help you as far as understanding the words that you're speaking. Roger?
Okay. I'm just using the stock mic here, and there's a switch on the back of it. There's a setting 1 and setting 2. Can I see if that second setting makes a difference?
Alrighty, can you do like a count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then switch that and go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
And then switch that and go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
Yes, sir. This is KE8ADV 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're switching to the other setting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, sir, Tony. The number 2 setting, the one that you had at the last, was the best. You had less bottom end and seemed like more top end, and so your audio was much more articulated that way. Roger?
So your audio was much more articulated that way. Roger?
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Boy, I really enjoy listening to you help stations with their audio. Are you on every Friday?
Yes, sir. Every Friday. Well, so far, cross your fingers, for the last 6 years, Friday afternoon from 3:30 till 5. Roger?
Friday afternoon from 3:30 till 5. Roger?
Okay, well, I really appreciate your help, and I'll let another station jump in there with you. And by that time, I'll maybe learn my a little bit more about my radio here. Yaesu does not make it really easy, in my opinion, but appreciate your help. This is KE8ADV, and thanks again.
Roger, Roger, Tony 73, and if you want to hear that audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, we'll bring up this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So 73 there, Tony, and have a good afternoon. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. My name is Jim, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
My name is Jim, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Delta, Kilo Fox 9 is noticed here.
There's a Kilo Delta something, Kilo Delta station. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Kilo Delta station, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Kilo Delta 9, Quebec, Delta Papa.
QDP, Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
QDP, Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
The name here is Rick, and the ETH is Rockford, Illinois. The radio we're running here is a Kenwood TS450 Limited, and the microphone that we're using is a Rode Procaster.
Roger, Roger. Rick, you say radio is a TS450. Is that a Roger?
Roger, Roger. Rick, you say radio is a TS450. Is that a Roger?
QSL, QSL.
Yes, sir, Rick. Well, why don't you give me about 10 seconds? I'm copying you right now on Milford. Why don't you give me about 10 seconds on your antenna system? Let me look around and see if I can get a better path. Roger?
Antenna system. Let me look around and see if I can get a better path. Roger?
Roger, Roger. We're using a resurrected 11-meter amplifier. It's a AB1 class amplifier, 500 watts. It's a straight 4-pill. There's no driver transistor in it. So therefore it's a high drive amplifier. And it's running about 500 watts here through a Dentron Antenna Tuner Plus. And then it's running that outside. Of course, we got a watt meter here and then an RF amp meter we're using too. And then it's running out to a MFJ 2990. 43-foot vertical.
Yes, sir, Rick. I've got you on my local antenna system. I have 3 10-foot vertical magnetic loops, and I run them as a scanner system because rotors are just too slow. And so I have one at 0 degrees, one at 90 degrees, and one at 146 degrees or thereabouts. And I'm copying you about 10 to 12 over on my 10-foot vertical magnetic loop. Roger, your audio is sounds really good. There's about 3 dB compression, which is, or should I say 3 dB dynamic range in your audio, which is nice and fat, and your curve is nice, very intelligible. Roger?
QSL. Yeah, this is
This is a good old radio. I like it. I used to run the MC60A desk mic on it, but I get better reports running this big tubular microphone here. It's made by a company in Australia there called Rode, and the microphone here is a Procaster. It's somewhat similar to the Electro Voice RE20.
Roger that, Rick. Is that a condenser mic? Are you running a preamp with that, or is that a dynamic?
This here, this is it's a dynamic microphone. The thing about this microphone is there's no high or low impedance switching. They are both combined together, and I don't know. I just get good reports with it, but yeah, there's no impedance switching, no pickup pattern or anything like that. But very nice mic. I enjoy it quite a bit. I mounted on a little desk stand here, and so anyway, that's the setup that I've got here. Talking about 6 inches away from the mic at a 45-degree angle. I do not talk directly into a microphone.
Yes, sir. Sounds beautiful. Sounds beautiful. I have a Rode myself. It's a condenser microphone. I don't use it for radio. This is a homebrew condenser mic that I'm talking on now through Art preamp. Into the radio mic in, and then out to SB220 up to a no SWR tuned resonant tuned dipole antenna. Roger.
Roger. Yeah, you sound good over here, and you're hitting me about an S9 to about a 15 over here.
Roger, Rick. Well, listen, let me say 73 to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by. If you want to hear your beautiful audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call it a search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by followed by the word logbook. That's KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger. Could I get your name again?
Yes, sir. Name is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and we're located just across the river from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville.
All right there, Jim. 730. Thanks for getting me in. KC9VKV, KD9QDP.
Roger, QDP 73, sir. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. And right now, gosh, looking at the clock on the wall, I see there's a dead fly. Ooh, so we got to get out of here. We'll say 73 all. And again, if you participated, want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do that call it a search, KC9VKV followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. It'll be number 1. Regardless of what YouTube says, it will be cut number 1. Sometimes YouTube is a little slow in sequencing their numbers there, but we're not. So this will be cut number 1 in that series. So we'll say 73 all. This is KC9 returning the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, clear.
Jim, do you have time for one more, sir?
Yes, who is it?
This is Kilo Delta 4, Mike Sierra November.
Mike Sierra November, Roger. What's the first of that call?
Kilo.
And Kilo what?
Kilo Delta 4, Mike Sierra November.
All right, Mike Sierra November. What's the name?
Bill, Bravo, India, Lima, Lima.
Hi, Bill. Whereabouts are you located, sir?
I am located at the western end of the state of Kentucky.
All right, Bill in Kentucky. And what radio are you running, sir?
I'm running the FTDX 101D.
101D, 101 Dog, Roger?
Yes, sir.
All righty, and I've got a good copy on you. So the first thing I want to do is to make sure you're in that wide transmit bandpass mode. That's 100 to 2900. Roger, roger.
Roger. There.
That verified you are in that mode?
Yes, sir.
All righty, then move to your compressor and adjust it for a 3. 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, just a third of the compression. Roger?
It's already there, sir.
Yes, sir. Now move to your AOC with mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio, spoken just as you would speak any other word in a QSO, don't stress it, just say it, audio. Adjust your AOC for 2/3 by way of mic gain control. Roger?
Roger. Audio.
And you can say that a couple of times and stretch the A audio and use it as a test tone setup. Roger?
Audio. ALC's not moving.
All right. What's your mic level control?
It's on about 62.
All right, take it up to 72 and let me listen to you. What mic are you running?
I'm running the MD100.
All righty, take it up to 72 and be right on top of that mic, about an inch away, and let me hear you.
Audio. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4. Audio.
All right, take it up to 82.
Audio. Hello, audio.
All righty, and now what I want you to do is give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system.
Roger, Jim. I'm running a Cobra Senior, 160 through 6. It's a multi-band antenna, of course.
All right, Bill, you're still low, but let's just say right now, for all practical purposes, how far away from the mic are you?
Oh, about 2 inches.
All right, just for kicks, come up to 1 inch away from that microphone and tell me the best thing you like about your radio.
Oh, I love this new radio. I love the receiver. Both of them, man. It is. I've never had one that received as well as this.
All right, I would use that mic at 2 inches away, like you were. I would run it just like that. You're still, about 4 dB, 3.5 dB, somewhere in there. So you're not quite as fat as you could be, but you're pretty fat. So I would leave it just like it is. Do you have equalization on that radio?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, and can you move to that equalization page? And what I want you to do is crank in 2 clicks, additional treble EQ from where you are. And what kind of equalizer do you have on that radio?
It's a 3-band, low, mid, high.
All right, it's a 3-band EQ. So what I want you to do is make sure your mid-range EQ is flat. Neither cut nor boost on your mid-range, flat. And then take that treble EQ plus 2 clicks additional push from where you are.
Okay, sir, I'm on 10 already.
That's good. Now your middle EQ is flat?
Middle EQ is turned off.
Yes, sir. All right. I would go to 200 cycles on your bass. Well, I guess you can't really tune that. Just come up 2 clicks on your bass and let me hear you.
Yeah, I can tune the bass.
Okay, 200 cycles plus 2 clicks from where you are.
All right, 200 cycles, and that would be level 7.
All right, that sounds good. Now, if you can tune, can you give me a 2.7 on your treble? Can you give me 2.7 on your treble?
27 hertz?
2.7K. 2.7K hertz on the top end treble. 2700.
Yeah, I'm at 2700, sir.
Okay, can you shape it? Can you give me a 4 bandwidth? A 4 bandwidth?
Yes, sir, that's a 4 bandwidth right there.
Roger, Roger. You got it, sir. Why don't you tell me about the best thing you like about your radio, and let me listen to you for a moment.
Roger. I love the receive. It's an impressive radio. The waterfall, and it's just, man, it's just, to me, it's like night and day from what I had.
Yes, sir, Bill. Now, you can see your ALC meter. Is that a Roger?
Well, I don't know why my ALC's not moving.
Just for kicks, why don't you take that mic up all the way and come right up on that microphone? I want to find out exactly what the max is out on that radio. So volume up all the way on your mic, and you right on top of that mic and give me an audio.
Audio. Hello, audio. I'm about almost my lips touching.
Yes, sir. Okay, back that mic down to back where you were, because you're busting up a little bit. Apparently, your ALC meter's not performing correctly. So disregard the ALC. Just take your mic level back to where you were.
All right, sir. That's back at, I think you said 82 is where you wanted me.
Yes, sir. And why don't you use your? Do you show an output level control? Did you see output readings on your meter? I'm just trying to find you a reference for your audio. If you can see the output, if you can't see the ALC, can you see the output from that transmitter?
Roger. Hello, 1, 2, 3. It seems like it's only going up about 50 watts.
Oh, roger that. And your max output on your transmitter, you got it adjusted for max output?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I think you're okay audio-wise. And whatever reference you have there as a zero level for your reference, I would use that as a reference and try to keep it there. In other words, keep it displayed as you're talking, and always try to keep it at the sweet spot. Roger?
Roger. Do you have time to do my headset?
That would be you, sir. Oh, yeah, I do. I can do that. Yeah, sure. The thing is, though, we're going to have to make modifications probably to the setup we have to make the headset correct. So if you want to do that, we'll go ahead and do that, but you may lose the settings that you have for the other things. Your mic gain might be different, and your EQ might be different.
Roger, sir. What I was going to do is turn my mic EQ off and try to set it up with the headset on that setting.
Does the headset have outboard EQ?
No. I was just going to turn the mic EQ off on the radio.
Well, why don't you just leave the EQ on and just switch to the headset, and let's just see where it goes. Roger?
Roger, sir. Can you hear me? I think I'm on the headset.
Eddie, why don't you tell me about that headset? I would suggest if you have any flexibility in that boom microphone, I would move that microphone as far in front of me as I could, and just at the last minute make a 90-degree turn. But I would take that boom mic out in front as far as you can get, and then at the last minute make a 90.
This is with running to my headset, and I'm going to bring the boom mic around closer. Did you tell any difference, sir?
Well, you're a little hotter on your headset mic than you are on the other. So I would make a note. You're running probably 80-85% on your boom mic. I want you to cut down to about 50% on your headset, and let me hear you. Bring your mic gain down to about 50%, and talk to me for just a minute.
Got it down.
Alrighty, tell me again about your antenna system for about 10 seconds.
Okay, I've got a Cobra Senior. It's a 162.6, and it's multi-band.
All right, take that to about 45. Take that to about 45 on your mic gain, and tell me about your radio and another something you like about your radio.
Well, sir, that was 50
All right, so I want you to turn it down to 45. You're a little hot.
Okay, sir. JCFCDX 101. Awesome rig. Love everything about it.
All right, I would take that mic gain to about 40 on your headset. About 40 on your headset, because you were busting up just a little bit there. So I think at a 40 it should be clean. So go to 40 and let me hear you there.
Okay, sir. I'm on 40 there at LO1234556.
Yes, sir. I would run the headset at 40 and the other mic there at about 80 or 85, whatever we've determined there. Roger, Roger.
Roger.
Yeah, so that, that headset mic is doing real well. EQ is working out fairly well with the other EQ, so I don't think you need to change the EQ. Just change your volume mic setting from when you're running that other mic at about 80 or 85, pull it down to about 40 or 45 for your headset. Roger?
Roger, sir. Will do.
All right, sir. Bill, 73, sir. Have a great afternoon. Beautiful weekend.
Roger, you too.
Kilo number 4, Mexico, Ocean, Germany.
Roger, Bill, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. We have got to get out of here. We're running late, so we'll say 73 all. And if you would like to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube, do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording, be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And we've got to get out of here, so we'll say 73 and return this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is KC9VKV. Clear.
Okay, we'll try to catch you next week. KC9VKV, Kilo 4, Mexico, Ocean, Germany. We understand that you're busy. Thank you.
Roger, Mexico, Ocean. What was your call again?
Kilo number 4, Mexico, Ocean, Germany.
Mexico, Ocean, Charlie. You sound pretty good there. Why don't you give me 10 seconds real quick about your antenna system, and let me listen to you for a moment.
Roger, Kilo 4, Mexico, Ocean, Germany. We're running the Flex Radio. 6 Ocean, Germany. We're running the 400, the MD200 dynamic microphone. And running about kilowatts this afternoon into a double ZEP antenna, K4MOG.
Roger, Roger, MOC. This is KC9VKV. What's the name there?
Roger, MOC. This is KC9VKV. What's the name there?
Roger, the name is Gene, Germany, England, Norway, England, QTH, near Marietta, Georgia. Over.
Yes, sir. I'm on my Georgia SDR, matter of fact, and you're sounding just beautiful. What was the name? One more time phonetically.
Matter of fact, and you're sounding just beautiful. What was the name? One more time phonetically.
Germany, England, Norway, England. Like the cowboy, Gene Autry. Over.
Yes, sir, Gene. I got you now. And what radio are you running, Gene?
Yes, sir, Gene. I got you now. And what radio are you running, Gene?
We're running the Flex 6400 into an OM 2000 plus linear at about a kilowatt. And that goes into a Johnson matchbox, and that feeds a double ZEP antenna with 450 ohm feed line. Over.
Yes, sir, Gene. Well, I'm copying you fairly unprocessed, and if you would like to be just a little bit fatter, we do have, first thing would be to be sure that you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. If not, just make a note to put yourself in that bandpass, 100 to 2900, Roger?
To put yourself in that bandpass, 100 to 2900, Roger?
Roger, very good. Well, I know you're busy. I know you need to go, so I'm not going to hold you. Will this be recorded? Over?
Yes, sir. Recording now as you speak. I would suggest that you perhaps take advantage of our setup procedure, which we move to the your compressor with about 3 on your compressor. It's something that you'll never hear on the air, but it helps the fattening process just a tad, Roger.
But it helps the fattening process just a tad, Roger. Roger, thank you very much, and we'll let you go for this afternoon, but which SDR are you copying me on? Over.
It's the Atlanta SDR right at the moment. You seem to be about 20 over, so you must be fairly close to that. Lots of times, you know, even though the SDR is in somebody's hometown, it doesn't work very well, but it's working extremely well in your case, Roger.
Work very well, but it's working extremely well in your case, Roger. Roger, understand. How are you on your receiver? Over.
Let me check that. Why don't you give me about 10 seconds, tell me about your antenna system, and let me look on my local antenna, Roger.
Antenna system, and let me look on my local antenna, Roger.
Roger. Well, because I'm copying you about 15 dB over, and I think we're both in a kilowatt. Over.
Yes, sir. I've got you on my local antenna. It's the hottest on my resonant tuned dipole antenna. You're probably about 20 over on that. Now, I would just suggest my local receivers get down to 100 cycles, so you sound nice down there, but you have to reciprocate your top end for balance. So I would suggest EQing about 3 dB hotter treble EQ from where you are. 3 dB more push, 3 clicks more push treble EQ from where you are to balance that nice bottom end. Roger?
Roger. Okay, well, let me do that right now. This is Kilo number 4, Mexico Ocean, Germany. Okay, now we just clicked it, and I wonder if you notice any filling of the mid-range and upper end. Over.
Roger. Hopefully we're do you have adjustable top-end EQ? Can you give me 2.7K push point?
No, that's what I just did, the 2.7. Well, it's between 2 and 4K. Over.
Roger. Do you have anything above? Oh, well, okay. I don't know why they don't just give you a 2.7. That's the ideal frequency with a width of 4. You know, if you have the capabilities of broadening that EQ out, I usually do a width of 4 at 2.7K. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, well, on my equalizer, it's 500K, 500 hertz, 1K, 2K, 4K, 8K, and you kind of have to play around to get the 2.7 peak. But anyway, look, I know you were signing off, and I won't hold you, and I appreciate very much this recording. I'll give it a listen, and we'll look for you next weekend. Over, okay?
Roger, Gene. I have on my set a spectrum analyzer tied to the audio out, and so you can see exactly where your EQ points are there on the spectrum analyzer. We are good down to 100 cycles, so again though, if you do 100 cycles, you have to get balance to the top end for that to work. And also, you take a chance with that tremendously bottom end because you have all kinds of things like phase cancellation, which just whacks the top end of the audio spectrum off, and you're left with all that bass, and you become Mr. Mumbles. So I think where you are is just ideal now. Roger?
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate your help, and we'll look for you again. And let's see, when will the recording be posted?
I'll have it posted by noon tomorrow. So what you should do is go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, and that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, where we're currently featuring over 2,300 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. But this recording will be cut number 1, regardless of what YouTube says. Roger?
Roger. Very good. I will give it a listen, and I appreciate it very much. KC9VKV, Kilo 4, Mike Oscar.
Roger, Roger, Gene, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. Now, we got to get out of here, folks. We are now concluding today's broadcast, returning the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is KC9VKV, clear.